Peacocks happily hopping around.
Which about few years ago, 3-4 years ago, we got India's largest avocados. They were about 1.75 each.
1.75 kg?
Yeah. These are not.
So these are all volunteer plants, avocado saplings which have just come up by themselves because some monkey threw one avocado down.
Huge tree is a sitafal tree, though it's not here. The size of the sitafal.
This is a sitafal tree?
Is
Wow.
This.
Usually allspice leaves I see which are like 1/4 the size of this, right? This is massive. And the tree itself is massive. So I... Awesome.
Yeah.
See, this is what you get your cocoa and chocolate from. So you're telling something interesting about your jackfruit trees giving yield twice this year. What's the secret? Hey, so we are at Kala Farm today in another exciting episode of Farmizan on the Road. This farm is bang inside Bangalore, but it's just amazing. Like I walked in and outside, of course, all of these buses, taxis, and then suddenly it seems like as if I'm in Coorg, right? Like I can only hear bird songs. I can see these massive trees. It's almost like it's really like a Coorg or some sort of a rainforest or something like that. So we have Sabena here with us.
Hi, I'm Sabena. I live here and I've been here almost 37 years.
37 years, right? So you came in 1987.
87 years, right.
Right. And so tell us, this is about 14.5 acres?
Yeah.
This farm, right? And when you came in, obviously the farm must have been very different at that point of time.
The trees were not as big, yes,
Okay.
but my husband had this farm for a little before we got married, so he had planted a lot of trees because he's very fond of greenery. So yes, there were trees, but not as much as this. Now you can clearly hear the birds chirping.
Right.
And these huge trees, there's such a canopy over the farm.
We'll put a picture in the video about how in 1978 when Raviji had bought the farm, how it was. There was nothing at that point of time.
Nothing at
Right,
that
so that
point.
this transformation is possible.
You could hear geckos in the night,
Okay.
around the place.
Okay.
It was that quiet and lonely, and
Got it. So what was the motivation or inspiration behind kind of setting it up in the way it has? Was it very serendipitous that you started planting trees as you wanted, or did you like have an initial plan? This is how I want this to become in 2024.
to be honest, I had no plan. I got married and we started living on the farm. And earlier, I used to work with the Taj group of hotels.
Okay.
The Taj Coromandel and the Taj West End. And then I was always very fond of gardening. As a child, I would do a lot of gardening with my dad. So there was no question of going commercial or nothing. It was just passion for growing things. Then because I wanted something to do and I had left the Taj group then, I got back into, say, gardening with the Taj giving me a chance to provide plants for their hotels in Goa, Fisherman's Cove, Madurai and so on.
Okay.
So I did a lot of...
And give plants as a nursery supplying plants?
as
or?
a nursery supplying plants. So
Okay.
basically, yeah, that's right. I started as a nursery. I started a nursery and I was supplying plants all over.
Okay. But a nursery is also a very technical thing to do, right?
Yeah, so I was fond of plants. So basically, I till today will say that I'm still learning. There is no end to learning. So then I had some good people advise me. I had the Indo-American next to me. And so a little nursery started,
Okay.
which then expanded.
Huh.
So then other than just going out of Bangalore to supply plants, I started doing indoor plants for hotels, offices,
Okay.
corporates and so on.
Okay.
So that I think I did for about 25 years till COVID when a lot of offices closed down. And side by side, since we were fond of plants, like I told you, my husband and I and even my kids, whenever we travel, we picked up plants from somewhere or the other.
Okay. So do you have any idea of how many trees are there in this?
I really can't say, and a lot of them have also been planted, I would say, by the monkeys and the birds.
Right.
Because I feel the soil is very fertile. you know, and when nature gives in abundance.
Hmm.
So we have planted some trees,
Hmm.
but then again, a monkey or a peacock or some bird has picked it up, planted it elsewhere, and so like you see, there's plenty of it.
Hmm.
I sometimes find new varieties myself,
Okay.
like my musambi sweet lime.
Uh-huh.
I will show that to
Okay,
you. Out
okay.
of the 35 years, I've got the most fabulous musambi.
Wow. Was there something that you did specially to prepare the soil, etc., or like how do you prepare an area for planting, for example?
I think here, first of all, if you can look around, you can see we have a lot of natural mulch around the place.
Yes.
So there are so many trees,
Hmm.
you know. So we have a lot of natural mulch, I should say, around over here. Then, of course, for preparing the soil, we use, like all organic farmers, we also use a lot of cow manure. Then we have sheep on another farm.
Okay.
So take use of the sheep manure also.
Okay.
We compost all our manure over here. All the leaves that fall down are put into a shredder, including the coconut leaves and the neem leaves. They're all put into a shredder. And then everything is put back into the soil. It's like the soil gives us and we give back to the soil.
And you stay at the farm as well,
I
right?
stay at the farm here. So
Got it.
it's like we're all involved in it. It's like a little community because my workers also live with me. I
Okay.
have workers from Bihar and from Karnataka.
Okay.
So
And
I
how
kind of
many
learned-
workers do you require for the upkeep of a farm like this, 14.5 acres?
Not all of it is a nursery.
Okay.
So I think it's not actually the amount of workers that you require. It is the quantum of work that they do.
Okay. Okay.
You can have 20 people lazing around doing nothing,
Huh.
but you can still have 2 people who do a fantastic job.
Got
So,
it.
but I have about 15 of them, 12 to 15 of them on the farm.
But this is unbelievable. Like there is so much of bird song, and there are canopy trees, there are ground covers, there are shrubs. It's really like a beautiful forest, bang in the middle of Bangalore.
That's what we
Unbelievable.
wanted. I wanted it to grow things naturally. You know, make the best of nature, and I think nature provides everything for us. It gives us shade, so the tall trees grow taller, help the ones that can grow in shaded ones. Then you have again your ground covers, which is equally good. It keeps the soil moist. So it kind of nature takes care.
Got
When
it.
you take care of nature, nature takes care of you.
Right.
I'll show you that. Yeah,
And
sorry.
when you kind of like started this off, did you first like go and visit other farms and say, okay, let me learn what people are doing, or did you like completely trust your intuition and gut and said, okay, let
Like
me?
I told you earlier, I'm still learning.
Okay.
Yes, I took a lot of advice from friends and I'm learning as the process goes on. I try to, now you have so much of material on social media.
Right. There's so many YouTube videos and
There are
things
so-
like
so
that.
Some fail, some don't.
Huh.
But then, in fact, I was doing farming, but not organic farming
Okay.
earlier. But then I realized that people were making me use, not on this farm, on another farm, were making me use a lot of pesticides and chemicals and so on. And the day I got a root shock was once when I went to visit a farm, a nice broccoli farm with the most amazing broccoli. And I was chatting with the farmer over there, and he had cows too.
Okay.
So I was telling him, I said, this is good, you know, the leaves are really good for your cows. And he spoke to me in Kannada and he said, Madam, you think I would feed these leaves to my cows? They are so full of pesticide, my cows will die.
Oh.
Can you
Okay.
imagine? And we eat it. And that is sold in all the premier stores. So then I think that was a rude shock to me, or it was like an awakening. Like, you know. So then I said, okay, in my small way, let me do it. So here on Kala Farm is completely organic.
Okay. Okay.
So we make use of all the natural resources. And we do lose a lot, but then we do gain a lot. It's a roller coaster ride.
Got it.
This is the lovely Musambi tree.
Oh. And you are letting it ripen on the tree itself.
Natural ripening.
But you have so many birds. Don't you lose like a lot of fruits
Yes.
to the birds? But you're okay with it.
That's okay. We are living in their land. We are living in their land. Like I say, we have a lot of peacocks coming in now. You know, from the forest close by, which come and damage my veggies and so on. But then I feel sad. Where do they eat? Where do they stay? The
Right.
whole day, the poor peacocks have to hide on top of the trees. Because if they are down, they'll be caught.
Right.
So they ascend in the evening. It's beautiful. The way they come down and walk. It's like a barat go in the evening. And of course, in the night, they're feeding on my vegetables, but then you have to kind of let go.
Maybe they're also driving away some of the snakes, etc. as well.
No. That's what people say. But I have snakes in abundance. Too.
Okay.
I have snakes,
But, I mean-
rats, birds, whatever, dogs. We all, I think we all live like a community.
But this has like so many of them which have come up here,
Yeah.
right? It's like a
And it's really, really sweet. We should cut one. It's sweet. I was shocked myself. I thought it was a lemon variety.
because it's a
those
little
are-
oval. It's not fully round. It's a little ovalish.
Yeah, but it's a looks like. I was going to actually harvest it all yesterday till you told me you're coming. I said, let me show you. You won't believe it. This could happen in
But
the
is
heart
there
of
something?
Bangalore.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, is this something special that you're doing with it, or
To be honest, I neglected this tree for 30 years.
okay?
I thought it is a lime tree which doesn't give fruit. That's all.
Oh, and this year is the first time it
This
gave,
is the first time it
and
gave.
it has given such abundant yield.
Yes.
Amazing. Like it's like nature decided, okay, let me, surprise these folks.
So you know how patient you have to be.
Right.
So if somebody is planning to put musambi in Bangalore, you never know how long. Maybe you can get in 4 years or maybe you'll get in 30 years. Fine. I think that's right.
And now the taste test will happen.
The taste test would happen.
But this gets messy,
That's okay. So the easiest way to cut the peel off.
It definitely is juicy. I can see all of the misty stuff coming out. I can smell it from here.
You can smell it, yeah. I thought it was a lime tree which is not going too far. Sorry. I will have to trade. I will give you a nice.
Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah.
A sweet lime which is actually sweet.
Actually sweet.
So, what about the landscaping, etc.? Is that something that you did on your own, or you hired some consultants to do like a design?
No consultants.
Okay.
Just the family.
Okay.
Ravi is also very fond of farming. So everything, in fact, every blade of grass was planted by us.
Okay.
Okay. So
What's
I
that drying there?
brought you here to see we've just harvested the haldi. So you can smell it. Premanand, you can have a bigger root.
Nice. And the roots are pretty thick
Yeah.
and juicy looking.
Yeah. So we have Premanand here who is going to take out the little buds, and then again we are going to do the replanting soon.
Okay.
After we now we boil this. We're waiting for the sun to come out a bit. Then after that we will boil it, we will dry it, and then we will come.
Got it. Now, so all the produce that comes from this farm, obviously you guys can't consume all of it, right? So what do you do with the rest?
So earlier I was giving it away to friends, but then I found there was so much of it, and there are a lot of people who advised me. They said, "Why don't you give it to us?" So then, by word of mouth, I started sending it out. Yes, I do not give shops or departmental stores or other places. But
So
I
it's
give
only
it
direct to consumers.
directly to the consumers.
Got it. And how do you get it delivered? Do you use like Swiggy and things like that?
No, no. We do the delivery. So
Okay.
we take like block orders, apartments and so on, and try and do it area wise.
Okay. And is it like a this area on this day?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
It could be like a Tuesday or Kengeri side, from Kengeri to Rajajinagar, or it could be from here to Indranagar. So we consolidate the orders and then we send.
Got it. And could you share like how many customers you have in general who keep on buying every now and then?
To be very honest, I haven't kept a tab on it.
Got it.
But we send out Google Forms every time the produce is ready, which is about 2 to 3 times a week. We send out Google Forms to all.
See,
to all
and you
our
have
regular
WhatsApp
people.
groups, etc. as well.
WhatsApp groups, Google Forms are sent out by the office. Then they order and then we have it delivered. And
Got it.
actually,
Is
by
there a
word of
minimum
mouth,
order
people-
size or anything like that?
Yeah, depending on the area,
Okay.
I would say.
Okay.
Because if it is really far away, then like now Bangalore, actually, more than the distance comes the traffic.
Right, right,
So
right.
if you have to deliver to Indranagar, it takes half a day.
And this
So-
this delivery is done like in a truck or something like that, or
We have a truck. I mean, we have a max truck, a smaller truck, and we have different jeeps and vehicles. So
Okay.
depending on the orders,
understood.
and then the orders will also keep changing because we have different produce every 2-3
It's not
days.
like a catalog. Oh, you will
It's
always
not
have aloo and pyaz and all of
No,
that stuff,
it's not.
right?
Sometimes I might have a wide list, but sometimes it be small. But I have very good customers who understand that this is the produce that is going to come out of Kalapa. So if I don't have it, I don't have it. But when I have it, it will be shared with them.
Right. And how do you decide the price?
So to be honest, I have to look around, decide the price because I really don't know.
So you would look at Big Basket, this, that, and see what is the price people are selling
I would
at.
look,
isn't it?
and then I would get people telling me this is high, this is not this or whatever, or this is low. But then people do not understand the work that goes on in the organic farm. We lose a lot also because we don't use chemicals and
Right.
pesticides. So
Right.
I feel it's worth it, and I feel every farmer should get his due. I'm really for that. Every farmer, whether it's organic or inorganic, it should be, every farmer should get his due because they put in a lot. And a lot of farmers here, we depend on, like, everything is on nature.
Right, right.
It's not all greenhouse cultivation.
Just yesterday I was talking to a farmer and he has like 30-40 acres of mango orchards in Kolar. And he was like, last year, you know what? In just 3 villages in that area, for 15 minutes there was hailstorm and this big, huge hailstorm, and just the whole harvest got completely wiped away for that
It's
year.
really heartbreaking where, like, I know that. We wait for the crop to come. Then first is the pests that attack, and then you feel. Then you have some unseasonal rain, which will again maybe, the sabaki and all, it all gets spoiled or things like that. So it's really sad. And then also for these farmers, if their crop goes, what do? They have
Right.
waited months, 3 months,
Right.
6 months.
Right, right.
Then they have to dump it on the road. So it's really sad
Right.
that they do this. I do wish there would be some kind of a solution where they would at least get a fixed minimal price to make more people want to do farming.
So this turmeric, in how much area was this grown, you would say?
So we are still pulling out the turmeric.
Okay, okay.
We're still pulling out the turmeric, and I will, like I tell you, it is in different pockets wherever we find empty space and wherever we find sunlight. Because, like you see in this farm, there's not much sun.
Right, right. Because of these really, really tall trees and things like that. So they are helping you with mulch, but they're also
So
taking a little bit of sunlight.
We look at the areas, So we look at the areas, so we plant it in different places.
I mean, what percentage of your food do you think you are able to grow yourself?
I think a lot of it.
Okay.
I think sometimes even the family gets fed up of eating this.
Huh.
We grow a lot of greens and a lot of seasonal vegetables.
Got
Like this time we even put dal, we even put rice.
Oh, even rice, pulses, all of this stuff also you grow.
In
Oh,
the other
awesome.
farm in Anikal, Premanand was trying out the rices and the dal. So we have not yet harvested that. So we have to do that. So here it's basically vegetables.
Are you guys vegetarian? Okay. So what about your non-veg stuff? Is that something also like the chicken that you eat? Is that something that you grow?
No, because my children will not allow anything to be cut or anything on the farm.
Huh.
We are very particular about that.
Got it.
So, but we are non-veg, yes, but then we don't rear anything and cut it
Understood.
on the farm.
Understood.
So much so, I should say. I know it's not a good thing, but even if we see snakes, we just let it go. But yes, sometimes we have to, because there are little kids, workers' kids on the farm, and we cannot take a risk. So we have to call somebody to take it.
Right.
But it so happens by the time somebody reaches here, he's gone into one of
So all of your workers stay at the farm as well? Got
I
it.
give all of them accommodations,
Okay.
send all the children to school.
Okay.
In fact, some of them have been here for so many years that they are now in college doing engineering and so on. So
Because
that's
this is one challenge that people always talk about, that
Absolutely.
getting labor in farming is a big challenge.
Absolutely. Because now nobody wants to do farming. Everybody wants to join either an IT company or do anything else.
But what I'm hearing from you is, if you take care of them, if you are able to send their kids to school, etc., then they have no reason to leave you, kind of, right? Is that
Honestly, I don't think so. I think maybe I've just been a little lucky in this aspect.
Understood.
I would say, because you cannot force anybody to stay. But like I tell you, I have people from Bihar and Gulbarga, and they would have their families out there and their personal problems, so there would be. So there's a lot of shuttling that goes on up and down. But the good thing is, I learned the Bihari way, I learned the Kannadiga way of doing it. So
Okay. And when do you face this issue where when some of them come in and then like, no, madam, this is not how you should do it, you should be doing this other thing?
yes, a lot of that, yes, I face. And more than anything, I face, madam, I mean, they don't tell me on my face, but they think I'm stupid, not spraying anything and let it get spoiled. So there's a big issue. They say, why don't you just spray and then it'll all be okay? Our parents do it in the village. I said, I'm not spraying it. Then you're wasting it. So
That's a constant conversation that you have, basically.
yeah.
Right?
And then people have different ways of growing things. So we try and make both do. You grow and take the best of it.
Do they also utilize some of the produce that's grown in the farm as
So
well?
all the excess produce, we tell them, we say, please take whenever you want. There are hundreds of coconut trees and also they are falling. And so the jackfruits are also in abundance, mangoes, and also
Got
there's
it.
enough and more for everybody to have.
Got it.
I'll show you a nice allspice tree. So you don't find any trees here which don't have anything on them.
Everything has something or
Has-
the other creeping on them, right?
Has something on them.
Interesting.
So if you see,
And that is by design, like you have done it
that
accordingly.
these we have done, but see this, the pepper, they pluck all the monkeys have harmed it. There'll be
So you have really taken this whole, the 5 layers of the food forest, all of that, 7 layers,
but
all of that is...
without, I mean, if you see the size of the trees, you definitely know I didn't do this homework overnight.
Right,
Or
right.
I didn't do any homework 30 years ago. I just grew it. So Ravi and I just planted trees and planted trees. And this is also one of the
Oh, these allspice
This
leaves
is-
are so big. I
this
usually
is one
see...
of the allspice,
Okay.
and you can just smell it.
Usually allspice leaves I see which are like 1/4 the size of this, right? This is massive. And the tree itself is massive. So I have a allspice in my backyard as well, but
Yeah.
it's very small.
You have hope then. You have hope. So the reason you have to go trekking all over is because everything is not in one place. And I'm so happy that every bit, things are all then.
It's like many small gardens inside one
it's many
big
small
space.
gardens inside. Like you have the chiku here, mango here. Then we found again after many years we did know that huge thing is a sitafal tree, because this is the chikus which see, in
These
between
birds
the
have also
ramphal
eaten,
is
come and
coming.
eaten some of them, right?
Yes, but you can see the geckos, and in between you can see the ramphal, which has been
Right.
very nicely dropped by a monkey maybe. And
Acha, you didn't plant it?
No, I did not.
Okay, so the ramphal is here. And then the
See,
chiku
you
tree.
can easily make out it's not planted. There is a coconut tree here, and there is a ramphal tree here, and nobody would do
And
this.
both are happily giving yield, but
And
as
both
well.
would, yeah, and nobody will plant it.
So close together, right?
And both are just yielding because there's loads of ramphal.
Because both are getting sunlight. That fellow is also getting sunlight. This fellow is also getting
This
sunlight.
is a little fruit bowl. You have jackfruit, mango, ramphal. This massive tree.
So you are telling something interesting about your jackfruit trees giving yield twice this year. What's the secret?
I don't know. I just seem to keep finding jackfruit growing all the time.
Okay.
So, yeah, this is huge tree. It's a sitafal tree, though it's not here. But when it is in yield, the size of the sitafal.
This is a sitafal
massive.
tree?
Is
Wow.
a massive. And the fruit is also massive when it's not there now in season. And we ourselves didn't realize. Then last year we found the fruit was at least this big. At least this big.
Wow.
So, this is a sitafal tree. I take a picture of it when the sitafal is in show it back to you.
So that's a very tall wall.
Yeah, that's
What is
our
the
land
reason
also
for
on
having-
the other side.
Okay. But what is the reason for building such a big tall wall?
We were having planning something else on the other side.
Okay. Okay. And maybe the
Not
height of the
connected
land is
with-
higher on that side, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have resident monkeys also at the farm?
Plenty of monkeys, plenty. So that is a bit of a problem. Monkeys.
What is this structure here? There is a structure here with
This is my
pebbles.
husband loves to build pillars and this. So, we just thought we'll make a little structure over here. And then actually these are very nice flowering creepers, but right now they're not in season.
And
So when
do you do
live
any
here, you
prune?
keep doing something over here.
Okay. Do you do any pruning, etc., or not really?
Yes, I do if I need light. Otherwise, no.
Okay. So you are not one of those who's like by default I will be pruning every season. Not
No,
like
no,
that.
No, no. We did not want a manicured, pedicured farm.
Got
but
it.
yes, but because of the farming, I mean, because light is required,
Hmm.
sometimes I do have to trim.
Got it. Got it. But this is also an interesting strategy to do. That always have a creeper. You are getting this growing space. Why not use it, right?
Yes, so
and have.
on the other side, on the areca nuts, I put betel nut or betel leaf.
Okay. Okay.
So I have pepper and betel leaf on the areca nut trees.
This allspice is very potent. I think it's
And
smelling
not yet-
itself.
I
It's
have
smelling
not
like
yet
old
put
spice.
it out on the farm
Okay.
because everywhere I see, people are selling it as allspice powder. So I have not yet put it on the farm. Macadamia is flowering. We have hope.
Okay.
Macadamia is flowering.
So macadamia is one of like the costliest nuts available, right?
Yeah, which the monkey is throwing on the ground.
And more
drying. Just a little bit, a trial of the cocoa beans.
Okay.
I'll show you the cocoa also. And these are the cocoa beans. So now these have to be dried, and then I think have to be powdered for me to get my cocoa. But I've given it a good fermentation, like they said, 6 to 7 days. Hopefully, I get some good cocoa.
And this is of course going to be all consumed by you. I don't think your customers are going to be lucky to have that.
This is just the beginning. Actually, what happened? Ravi had planted a cocoa tree again many years ago. Then every time I got the cocoa, I didn't know what to do with it. Then thanks to YouTube, I found out that you could use the bean inside. You could use the cocoa, not the bean,
The pulp. The
yeah,
flesh.
the seed inside could be, sown and you'll get a plant. And I did that and I got over 100 plants.
Oh, okay.
So now I just, all these years, I say, okay, let me make plants so that tomorrow we have sufficient plants and the children want to have quantity to do something, because you need quantity to do something. So then I will have lots of cocoa plants. So these are my heliconias.
Oh, again massive leaves.
Massive. I think this whole thing is heavy.
Okay.
See that? See that? The heliconias now. We grow a lot of heliconias here and we give it to the florists also. So we grow ginger lilies, we grow heliconias, we grow birds of paradise, and they're all given to the local florists.
Achha, tell me something. One of the things that I've heard that teak trees, the leaves of teak trees can has this allelopathic effect, which means that other plants don't grow so near, etc. You have not seen. Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
I think you can see. Given a chance, I'll put something on the tree.
Like I've never seen literally a forest like this inside a busy metro city in India at all. So this is really cool.
So this empty place that you see is all the haldi that has been pulled out.
Acha, this was the
now-
haldi we saw, which was harvested.
So all the
Got it.
empty gaps that you see is the haldi. So like you see, every tree has.
Yeah, there's a creeper on all of them.
Arecanut will have a big bush of arecanut on top. And
In your daughter's marriage, you would have served betel leaf pans, etc., all with betel leaf from the farm.
see, these are coconut.
Oh, wow. See, this is what you get your cocoa and chocolate from. So cool. You can even ferment and make a drink out of that as well, like a cocoa alcohol.
I did collect a lot of
Pulp.
that liquor type which did come from the pulp, but I didn't know what to do with it.
Got it.
Yeah, but it was like a strong smelling
But
wine.
whatever comes here seems to be either gigantic in size or
And it
very
grows
massive
very
yield.
fast. These were all planted by me by way of those seeds.
Ha 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 ha.
So these plants are not even old.
Hmm.
They must be about 5 years. That's about all.
Okay. Hmm.
You go your cherry tomatoes and all.
And what do you do with the arecanuts? You sell them off.
I sell them wholesale. Yeah. They come and pick it up.
So arecanuts must be pretty hassle-free, I guess, in general, in terms of upkeep of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, for you, most of the things seems to be hassle-free in the sense
I
that.
think I've left it a lot to nature.
Hmm.
And I think nature has helped me a lot. Like you see that line there is again avocado trees, which about few years ago, 3-4 years ago, we got India's largest avocados. They were about 1.75 each.
1.75 kg
Yeah.
inside Bangalore in these trees.
And that was not one. I'll send you some pictures.
Huh.
There were hundreds of them. So the branches were breaking. In fact, the horticulture department had come to see it. And they thought it was maybe one avocado.
Huh.
But there were hundreds.
So what's the secret? What is this blue color sheet which is there? Usually we see a lot of
You got
yellow
your-
colored
You
sheets.
got your pest. See here. It's sticky, so it catches all the pests. We've just been pulling it all out, just replanted the broccoli.
So in general, do you get a lot of pest attacks or not really much?
Lot.
We do.
We do have a lot of pest attacks, but we try and use whatever natural means to get. Now that whole line of avocados is again grown from the seeds, which you saw the seeds I've collected,
yeah.
grown and
In the nursery.
this cocoa I planted last year, but it was already 2 years old. And there it is. Can you see what the first cocoa?
Yeah. And there's capsicum also, which is growing here.
The cherry tomatoes, we had plucked a lot, the red ones, and sold them off for today's sales. So you have
Wow, nice.
a lot of these. A lot of them have been sold.
And cherry tomatoes always look so good. The way they kind of form and bunch up together,
And
they
that
look so
red,
cool.
the red ones, the color was really nice, but today we had to sell them.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Brinjal. So wherever we have empty space, we are. This is what we call rose apple. I'm still waiting for that. They say this is the pink one. So I'm still waiting for that. Brinjals, pomegranates, radish, broccoli. This is the avocados I was telling you, the super large ones, which are now flowering.
1.8 kg.
let's see what happens this year.
And the trees are how old? The avocado, these avocado trees which gave you those
These
bumper.
must be 9-10 years old.
Last time when I came to this farm, you mentioned that you had a benefactor, neighbor who was a farmer who used to push cow dung. I think this was across this wall, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No,
Or-
that is still going on. He's not a farmer. He has cows. There's a gentleman here who has cows, about 10-15 cows. And now, this is part of the city. Nobody would want the cows next to their thing, and especially the cow dung. So and this has been happening from the last, I think, 25 years or so. He had no place to keep the cow dung. So he would drop it over, I offered to keep it. So he would throw it over the wall into the pits which were on this side of the wall at that time. And then I would layer it with leaves and mud and everything to cut down on the smell and everything and let it become compost. And then from this side, I would throw him the pipe
Okay.
to wash his cows.
Okay. That was the barter system.
That's a barter system that still continues.
Okay.
Till
And
date. So I have an ample supply, touchwood, I'm lucky, of cow dung, ganjala, and he has his...
Right. And for the longest period, I think you didn't see his face as well. You were doing a barter anonymously almost, right?
very nice man. But now we are friends. We're good friends now. So I let the cows be also on the other side. Because I think his business he would have had to stop his business. But where would he keep those cows? Oh, so where would he keep the cow dung?
Right.
These are all...
So these are all volunteer plants, avocado saplings which have just come up by
Which are
themselves
all-
because some monkey threw one avocado
Yeah,
down.
see? There are lots of them. The farm is full of them. There are plenty of them. We'll have to replant them.
Right.
So that side we have bindi, lime, different kinds of veggies on that side. So these are all my...
How much compost do you think you use every year on this farm?
I have never kept this thing.
Count.
I have just put back everything into the soil. Whenever the compost has been ready, and we keep making it in different corners so that, we have to use less labor to transport it. So whenever it's ready, it's put back, irrespective of whether it's needed or not. I think the soil can always do with a good layer of compost. I'm waiting for my nutmegs to start.
And even at 12 o'clock, you have so many bird sounds, etc. Usually bird sounds we hear like early morning, late
Then you come in the
evening.
This huge thing is my breadfruit tree.
Ah, okay. This you find a lot in Kerala, right?
Yeah. And we get hundreds of them.
So this you must be selling as well because you can't consume so
Breadfruit,
much.
Mango, ginger, everything I sell. In fact, now this season we had pulled out a lot of mango, ginger,
Okay.
breadfruit.
Do you also make any value-added products out of them before selling, like pickles and things like that?
Only lime and mango pickle I have made, and then we sell the lime concentrate, which people like.
Okay.
Because they say your lime is very good. So that's maybe this year we'll start with some. And yeah, of course, haldi we make haldi.
If there's
powder.
some extra, please also sell on Parmesan.
Yeah.
But I think everything gets sold out.
Everything is so I'm happy. Yeah. So for me, it's like not. What should I say? I'm not under pressure to do it. I feel the more I just let it grow, the more it just keeps giving back. Now, when this season will start, you will find the ground full of breadfruit.
And tell me about the mistakes that you think, the top 3 mistakes that you would have done in your farming journey. You must have made a lot of mistakes, of course.
Of course.
Part of the
I
learning
am
process.
still making mistakes.
Yeah. But what do you think are the top 3 mistakes if it comes to your mind?
I think the first mistake is planting in the wrong place.
Okay.
Because sometimes you feel, this is the right area, but it might, in the wrong place, it might not be getting enough sunshine or things like that.
Okay.
I think that is one.
Okay.
And sometimes getting the right seeds. Because nowadays it's very difficult to get genuine seeds. So I think I've tried out with so many this thing. So basically I don't know. I made a lot of mistakes, I would say. But I keep learning. like I said, I leave everything to nature here.
Hmm.
So then the whole thing depends on the weather, on the rain, sunlight, everything. We are totally dependent on nature. So now if you see the coriander, this
And you
one,
also
yes,
have a lot of these flowering plants along with
they've all
the
been-
vegetables as
yeah,
well.
Yeah, the birds are paradise. I had lots of marigolds also earlier. Do you need the bees and the birds? And this is the coriander. This is for seeding.
Okay. So you do save a lot of seeds, etc.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also for my dhania. Like my- Then you can see the drumstick tree in full bloom.
Again, so many of them. As usual, whatever trees are giving you yield,
No,
there's
this
like a massive
actually
yield.
I was forced to stop because I was selling drumstick leaves, which I had to stop. I had to force myself stop because people wanted a lot of drumstick leaves, which they were not able to get. Then when I stopped selling the leaves, which was literally about a month or two ago, I said no more selling leaves, even if I had.
Okay.
This is,
Then these fellows started coming up.
yeah. So now when we have the workers coming from Bihar and everything, they'll bring, now I don't have that, they'll bring their kalmi saag and all those things. They will
Water
start-
spinach.
Yeah, they'll start bringing me all those things. So
Oh, so they get seeds from there, and
yeah,
then
they will get from their village.
Huh.
Or these things like tondekai and all that, which you will, very difficult for us to get in
Correct.
the city.
Correct.
So
And I don't see any drip irrigation, etc. set anywhere.
yes, no, it's actually basically right now what we're doing is flood irrigation.
Okay.
Because I used to do a lot of drip irrigation, but the thing is, I have different plots in different levels also.
And they
one
keep
falls
changing,
in-
the structure also
one-
keeps changing.
Yeah. And some need more water, some need less.
Huh.
And if it is not correctly cleaned by the workers,
Huh.
then you lose the plant altogether.
And you have what, a couple of borewells here?
I have two bore wells.
And so far there's no water problem
No,
as such.
we don't have Kaveri water at all.
See who's here. And he has a nice tummy also.
Look at this bird, how sweetly he's sitting on this.
Who?
This bird.
Peacocks happily hopping around.
He must be in here also.
So this is another plot.
Yeah. He's around. And you can see how the city has come close to us.
Yeah.
There's leeks, there's sabatu.
And you have never had to like get soil from outside to reconstitute things, nothing. This is all.
Yeah. Sometimes I get once in a couple of years maybe, I get soil. Just for a top.
Have you ever considered like running training programs for farmers, gardeners,
I
etc.?
think I myself am still in the learning process.
Okay.
This is all celery.
Nice.
I mean, I'd love to share my knowledge with anybody, but I'm not a technical expert.
Understood.
Like I grow it out of a passion, and I think it's done well for me. So,
Have you also grown stuff like onions, potatoes, those sort of things as well?
we've grown everything that you can try and grow.
Okay.
Everything.
Okay.
Now, I think our next thing is we want to grow a lot of berries.
Okay. Okay.
Raspberries, strawberries, mulberries. So I'm trying to see in all these sunny spots I can put in a lot, because in the long run I see, it's very difficult to get labor. So I think we have to concentrate more on the tree varieties or the
More on permanent stuff rather than. Got it. One quick question. So, like a lot of times when let's say we are visiting California, we get very tempted with all these various different varieties of seeds, etc. Does it work? Like you get a bunch of seeds from abroad and things like that, and I'm sure you must have tried it as well,
tried it.
right?
Sometimes it does work.
Okay.
Because I've got things like the first Alpinia. I think I got it from Sri Lanka.
Okay. Okay.
Just the little bits of it.
So you
that
just
I-
don't know which one will work. Some
Yeah.
of them can
yeah,
work.
but I find like lime seeds and all that, they work very well.
Okay. Okay.
Avocados too will definitely work.
Do you have like different varieties of avocados
I
here?
have the round variety
Okay.
and the pear-shaped one.
Okay.
And we just recently, like you said, I got from London, the Haswell.
Has is growing for you?
Is growing but slow.
Okay.
The local varieties grow very fast.
And they give you the record-breaking
Yeah, like
1.8
some,
kg.
and I thought that it will not grow in sun, but somebody bought a lot of avocado saplings from me, and within no time, in a place like Hosu, no shade, full sun, they got a beautiful leaf.
Okay. The other question I have is actually like for our audience, for example, that a lot of times we try to learn these things looking at YouTube videos, etc., right? And or somewhere on Wikipedia something. Have you seen that most of the information is correct and applicable to India and your situation, or is it like no, most of it actually does not work? How is it when you look at YouTube videos from abroad and things like that?
I think it depends on which YouTube video. If
Okay.
you're looking at somebody who's done it
Hmm,
in India, you can kind of gauge where he's done it, how the climate is, and things like that. It might not work out exactly the same, but you do get information
Got it.
because
And-
somebody has done it. And he's showing you the results. So there's no harm in trying. That's how I started with my cocoa seeds.
Okay.
I mean, I learned that and I made hundreds of trees with those cocoa seeds. And now
Right.
those trees are giving me hundreds of.
So when you harvest, is it a problem because all the trees are very mixed together? Some of them have grown very tall because, okay.
You have those long.
Okay, okay.
sticks.
So you don't climb the trees to harvest, it's all
Yeah, we
plucking using that
long pole.
fruit plucker. Got it.
I don't water, I have to water.
So how frequently do you water? And it's all, so because it's 14 acres and you are not using drip, etc. Okay. Okay.
So we don't have to water the whole farm every day. We
Okay.
do it in sections.
Okay,
What
okay.
needs to be watered.
So the entire farm, acha, it's only on a need basis. So you guys see whatever kind of dries out and stuff. Like these areas will never need watering probably.
Here. We have a very old well here.
Okay.
And we've made it such that we can collect the water
Huh.
when the rain comes.
Hmm.
Now you see this kind of a speed breaker here, pump here, it goes into the well. So all
Okay.
the water which would have come in would have gone down, gone into
Ah,
the well. So
okay.
we try to collect during the rain water in different pockets all over the farm. So I think the ground level is pretty good. Water.
Got it, got it.
It's wonderful to do farm. It's one way of getting back to nature. But if you are going to be a guest to the farm, I don't know how helpful that will be, because it's nice to be connected with the farm as often as possible. If you're going to stay there, nothing like it. Or at least visit it often, get your hands dirty, feel the soil. You'll enjoy it.